All right, we are back. Happy Thursday night. It's Woodbine Live. Dan Tordjman here, remotely from not New York tonight, from Georgia. Welcoming in my co-host, Ashley Mailloux, paddock analyst, Fort Erie. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing? On vacation.
I'm on vacation, sort of on vacation. I know you're looking forward to your vacation. Hopefully, it's more of an all-around vacation than my vacation, which has been madness all around. Also want to welcome in Emily Gullikson, a partner at Optics EQ, handicapper analyst at Brisbane. Emily, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm not on vacation. I'm in full work mode. Woodbine, Indiana, and Del Mar going out once. So a little envious, but also that's a good thing.
Well, you work your passion. You're always on vacation because you work in horse racing.
Yeah, I don't know quite about that, but somewhat. Can't complain. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing, but one of these days I'd like to take a vacation.
I feel you. Well, hopefully we can make some money for some people watching tonight and they can take vacation. We have 3 races coming up from Woodbine. We have 3 harness races coming up from Mohawk. After that, Robert Reid Jr. will join us for the Mohawk Harness Hour at close to 7 o'clock. And for now, we'll just jump into Woodbine. Race 6 is coming up. The horses. Let's see. Horses are exiting the walking ring there and coming out for this race. Let's see what we got here. We've got a $40,000 optional claimer, non-winners of 3, going 6 on the Tapeta. We do have 2 scratches in the race. Scratch the 3 and the 4. It leaves us with a shorter field and a clear favorite right now, 4 to 5 odds right now on the 7 horse Super Hot, who's actually the horse that I like. No surprise, is 4 to 5 right now. Ashley, let's talk about this race. We'll start with you if you want to talk about it from a pace perspective or just who jumped out to you. Obviously, I think there are a few horses in here who have shown speed before, including the 6 Silence Breakers. How'd you see this race shaping up?
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm a little bummed out. I know before we hopped on, we both liked In a Twist, and that was kind of the horse that I really liked at 10 to 1 morning line. And even looking at the 4 Super Smart, who was 5 to 2 morning line, the first thing I saw when I looked at this race, there was a decent amount of pace on paper. They're only going 6 furlongs, so that was something I considered. You mentioned the 6 Silence Breakers. To me, last time out going longer didn't show speed, but had early foot was the 8. I kind of liked the 8 in here. I thought the 8 might kind of just sit right off the pace. Similarly to 2 starts back, that first race of 2020, where this one was actually, 3-4 lengths off the leaders towards the back early on and just missed by a neck. They did go very fast in there, though. That's something to kind of look at a little bit too. Looking at that opening half was pretty fast compared to some of these other races, but most of them are in the 44, 45 range anyways. To me, 4 to 5 is a really short price, especially in the 6 horse field. So I still like the 8. That'd probably be who I'd try to beat Super Hot with. I think you still have to use Super Hot. Kind of looking at the odds and some other horses right now. Originally, I did look at Speedy Bolt a bit, the number 1, who I can see basically is the only other horse we see under the selections for those at Woodbine. Mm-hmm. I think last time out, obviously, didn't have the greatest race, very even, and just kind of, faded in the stretch to lose by 7 1/4. But I thought the race, the first race of 2020 was decent, was able to just stop just off the pace and had, a nice late kick in there. But they didn't go that fast, for 6.5. So to me, I'm going to try to beat the 7, and I'm simply going to go with the 8. This is a race that I won't really mess around with the exotics too much. I'd probably just do a win bet.
Yeah, Emily, how did you feel about Ari Gold's Speedwagon? I thought that the horse had some pretty nice setups in his previous races and hadn't gotten it done. I didn't know if he'd get the same setup here. How did you kind of see the pace unfolding and how it impacted that one?
Yeah, I actually wrote up this race on Woodbine for Bet Woodbine TV, and even with the scratches, the pace is still very should be very contentious and should be very fast. Both 6, 7, 2, 5, all those horses like to be forwardly placed. Even the one, I know Ashley's reading the running line, but he was actually the best of the speed on June 14th. So he's a horse that probably wants to be forwardly placed as well. Whether he's quick enough or not, we'll see. But probably from the inside draw, cutting back, that could be the plan as well. And riding up this race, I mean, I landed on Ari Gold Speedwagon. I think he's going to get the right trip. He ran a winning race on that June 11th race. They kind of took back a little bit early, had some traffic, got shuffled, and then ran on late. There was a heavy headwind in the stretch, so he had to close ground on his stablemate that just got a perfect trip that day. I think he fits last time out, not what he wants to do, go 2 turns, but it was just kind of the perfect conditioning race, getting some speed into him, just not his running style, not his distance, but I think that race kind of helped set up for this afternoon. As far as the favorite right now, I mean, that is just, it's way too short a price. Like, regardless, he's been at this level going back more than a year and just has not run a winning race, has hit the board from time to time. But again, it's another horse that's going to be a pace presence, doesn't have a winning race at this level, and it's a super short price. So for me, it's not a horse I'm going to use. Like, if he wins, so be it. I'm all in on the 8 here. Just think he's going to get kind of the right trip today. I mean, if he doesn't win in this spot, I don't know, but this seems like the perfect place this afternoon.
A rare occasion in which I'm disagreeing with both of you. I mean, I don't visually, I didn't love the way this horse looked in his last few races. For me, I like Super Hot. I mean, I'm not telling you much here since the horse is even money. But between the two, I'll take Super Hot. Rafael Hernandez actually hops off Ari Gold Speedwagon to ride Super Hot. I thought the all-weather try with Super Hot at the level 2 back was really strong. Sat just outside the Silence Breakers, who'd set a wicked pace there and tired, but Super Hot kicked on and just got beaten by a neck on the line. Came close on the turf again last out, finished second. The third place finisher, Gasconade, came back to win his next start. And then, I just think he's in better form right now than he was when he was knocking head with some of these last year and got beat by some of these last year. So for that reason, I thought Super Hot was a pretty logical play. And even though we mentioned already Speedy Bolt, I thought when I'm looking at the board right now, 4-1, I mean, not that I'm like thrilled with 4-1, but I would take 4-1. I think that's a decent price given the fact that you have 2 scratches here. It's a horse who I thought had some excuses in some recent races. Drew wide in the race, 2 back, sat off the pace, and I thought he still kicked really nicely though. Was visually impressive, and so I don't know. I think this is a horse that if the pace does really shape up to be as fast as it looks like on paper, I thought Speedy Bolt made sense as a horse from off the pace. Rock Crest, the 2 horse. So this one I had a little trouble making sense of. I mean, ran insanely fast last out on the turf. Was sent through on the rail to keep up with a quarter of 20-2 and a half in 43-1. Okay. Naturally, he folded late. It looks like the jock might have lost the mount over that race. It was silly fast. But the horse hadn't really been asked to go that fast early in a while. I wonder what you expect from Rock Crest. And if Rock Crest, goes that fast, certainly should be head and head with Silence Breakers. Then you have Naviga's Dream, the 5 horse, just off them. Is that the way you saw the pace? I saw all those horses kind of forwardly placed. I mean, Rock Crest, the biggest question for him, it's like his stronger races are all on the turf. So his synthetic form, from what he's shown so far, is just a little bit below. There he is right there on the track. So that was just, a little bit of concern. But again, the board is compensating for that fact, currently 16-1. But yeah, I think a lot of those horses, I know we would cut down, but they do their best running when they're on or near the lead. Obviously one of them is going to break on top. There's a scenario where they all kind of bunch up a little bit, which again does kind of help the 8. As far as the 1, could be improving. Still lightly raced as 3-year-old, a little light on numbers. His return race this season won at this level, but it was a lower par. And again, close to the pace that day, even though he was kind of wide from the outside post early. So I think pace is going to have a big say in the outcome. Track seems to be pretty speed favoring, so maybe that does kind of help some of these horses out there. But we'll see. Ashley, anything to add on that? I know you kind of gave us your top 2. Any sort of price?
With Rock Crest, I don't actually want to say that he's got bad form over the Tapeta. Looking at his numbers, they haven't been as strong as the turf. So I agree with that. I think also too, it'll be interesting to see him back on the tapete. I mean, every time that he's raced in at least his most recent 3, besides when he broke his maiden, was all against Stakes Company. And I understand it was, restricted races and whatnot, but he showed up in most of them except for that last one of 2019 where took a lot of play. Dotted Line won, Artie's Princess, so both good horses that still had had won. Actually, both of them won after that. I mean, it just, for me, I really hate that most recent effort. I know they went really fast. Even the effort before that, I thought it was pretty even. So, I mean, I think it's a high price on him in this race. Kind of looking at him, the more I sit here, I think about him a little bit more, maybe for third. To me, I mean, I love the 8. That's the horse that I'm all over. I really can't make a case for someone like the 6. To me, I would totally use the 2 over the 6 in this spot, just because of, the last time out, 6.5. Kind of he tossed in the towel late as the heavy favorite, and he's always gone off at a really short price every time. So you're getting value on him today because of that most recent. But for me, I wish the other 2 horses were in here because I think it would have given more value to the 8, and I really liked the 8 and the 3, and the scratches have obviously toyed with that because you can see the 7 and 8 are pretty close in price right now. So for me, I'm gonna actually probably, I talked about a win bet when I saw the 8 and I was now the favorite at 4-1. I thought that was great, but for me, I probably just gonna sit out on this one.
Emily mentioned the track being favorable to speed, generally speaking, and I think there's potentially a scenario in which they look at what happened with Rock Crest last out and they get a little gun shy baby and they're like, look, we know Silence Breakers is going. You may want to just sit off of that one. And maybe Silence Breakers gets loose. I mean, in his past couple of starts, he's had pressure from horses like Super Hot, Nevaeh's Dream. Maybe there's a scenario where Silence Breakers actually gets loose and we're like, we're overthinking this. Maybe gets loose enough, maybe not to win, but at least hangs on for second, facing a little less pressure because everyone's expecting, someone else to go with him. So I think that's a possibility. Nevaeh's Dream, is another one who's pretty honest. Pretty consistent for the price you're getting. I think if you're looking for something resembling consistency, what you're getting with Nevaeh's Dream, I think looks more consistent than what you're getting with, for example, Rock Crest. And they're not the same price now, but they were a moment ago. They're pretty close in price. So
they're pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. So let's just kind of look ahead a race or two just while we have a minute here in case any of the viewers are looking to play a double or a pick 3. Is there anything that stands out in the next 2 races where you say, hey, if you're doing a double right now or if you're playing a pick 3 right now that you look into that you looked at?
I was just looking at the looking ahead. I think there's the favorite looks to be the 1 in the next race, who's coming off a layoff, and I think that horse could definitely win. But the value in that race seems to be the 6, and so last time they flashed at the double 8-6 is 112, so that's playable to me. Again, it's not the most likely combination, but I think that's a value combination that's worth a play there. So 8-6 in the doubles, but again, 8-5 is a little too short to just take a win bet.
Mm-hmm. Ashley, anything in the next race that you like?
I actually, I liked Hitters Park and Piven there. I do like the 1, the Adina Spring Stronach horse, but to me, if I were playing any sort of multi-race wager, the last one I think is the race that you have to spread, no matter what. So I'll look more at the late double. Not just because Emily's kind of talked me out of that bet the last couple weeks, but to me, I'd rather go 1 or 2 deep in race 7 and then use maybe 4 horses in the last race. I originally, when I handicapped it, I wrote 5 horses down, which to me already signifies I wrote 5 down. Probably could have considered another horse, so I'll have to narrow it down based on price.
All right. Looks like they're getting set to go here. Let me see if I get the sound up on this.
Coming out, one of the best is Silence Breakers with Nevaeh's Dream as they
y'all hear that?
The lead. Nevaeh's Dream
getting It's been on the whole time again.
It's been on the whole time?
Rock Crest up in the center. A length and a half, Arigold Speedwagon. And as they settle, 4 lengths covers them. And together, Nevaeh's Dream and Silence Breakers, the joint leaders. Super Hot is racing up on the outside of Rock Crest, hugging the rails, Speedy Bolt, and tracking the pack.
Where's the Rock Crest?
Speedwagon. A half mile to run.
Between the horses in the
Silence Breakers, a length away in 3rd placing. Rock Crest, Speedy Bolt, the inside.
One has no excuse from there.
Wide.
Really nice
Still at the
there.
back. Arigold Speedwagon. The first quarter was 22-4, and they quicken in front. And Navaje's Dream pressed strongly now by Silence Breakers. On the outside, Super Hot draws within a length in the center. Rock Crest on the inside, Speedy Bolt. Arigold Speedwagon pumped along from the back is still 3 away last. Top of the stretch, Navaje's Dream in front. Silence Breakers there in second. And trying to get home is Super Hot on the outside. The leader, Navaje's Dream.
The track has been like this, where it's so hard to close.
Leader, Navaje's Dream holding them. Now to second, Super Hot and Silence Breakers, but gate to wire. Steve Bay and Navaje's Dream by a length. Super Hot second, Silence Breakers third, and Speedy Bolt is run fourth. 110.02.
Well, for what it was worth, I did mention it right before the race. Not that I bet on Navaje's Dream, but you know, look, the I think looking at that race, as soon as Navaje's Dream went to the lead and was even that first quarter, I mean, you know, almost 23 seconds and the half and almost 45-4. First of all, you knew that that's not where the 6-horse wanted to be. So at that moment, I was like, Silence Breakers has no shot. But yeah, Navaje's Dream was in the right spot. As you mentioned, Emily, the track's been kind to speed. And, you know, I think for that reason, I mean, Super Hot should have run a good race, but ran a big race there to actually rally wide. And of course, yeah, I mean, you know, Arigold Speedwagon from where he was, it was going to be tough to make up.
He broke slow. I mean, you know, it's not the most, you can make a little bit of excuse. You still want to see a little bit more, but I mean, you just kind of look at the race shape. Again, I've been watching the races all day and like making notes of them. And it's just kind of been this type of profile where it's, you know, it's hard to make up ground. I mean, even in that race, it's like there's little change in running order. You know, the 5 staying on, the 7 kind of holding position. I mean, a couple of those other horses maybe on a fair track back up a little bit more. You know, you don't know. But yeah, again, that was I mean, we are smart to just say to back off the win bet just to know, you know, there's no value. I mean, closers at a short price is just like they'll break your heart over and over again. So smart on that aspect. But I think that's something that, you know, going forward, we got to like keep in mind, just kind of upgrade some speed horses, just the way that it's been playing.
For sure. Yeah, I've got some notes here for the next couple of races, some horses that I like, and I mean that's the one thing I'm looking at to make sure the horses I like aren't going to be too far back. And we could dig into those. Want to mention, if you're just joining us first week watching, as you know, the show's brought to you by Woodbine and by Dark Horse. If you don't know what Dark Horse is, let us show you.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
All right, you saw the website there, playdarkhorse.com. Last week when we were live, Dark Horse had an 8-1 winner, and also suggested an exacta that hit and paid nicely. So check out Dark Horse. Let's see. We've got 2 races to go here at Woodbine, as we mentioned. On the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to get into some harness racing at Mohawk with Ashley and with Robert Reid Jr. I know this race has not gone official, but we're so over this race. Emily, do you want to take us into race 7?
Yeah, I can quickly turn the page on a race. Yeah,
I want to remove this from the screen. I'm just going to get rid of it. Go ahead. I don't want to see it anymore.
We might need a board here. Yeah, it's, you know, going off kind of with the theme of, you know, speed being good, and the comeback horse here, number 1, Timbers Ghost. I know he's going to cut back significantly from those races, but he has actual sprint speed, so it's somewhat a testament to class for a horse that can show both sprint speed and route speed. And again, on Optics Plot, you know, he could have a pace if he comes back to those. It is a big if, you know, 424 days off a lay again for the first time. So a win from him wouldn't be surprising, especially if he's able to kind of take advantage of that track profile. But I think there's also, you know, those reasons, those unknowns to be a little bit cautious if a short price. And I guess we talked about this before coming on. This race is sort of like the matchup of all these horses that have been good to us since the beginning of the show. So we're going to see him back here with Solari and Piven, and even Hitters Park should he have been in the race. But I mentioned Super Success. And I know his current form looks a little bit suspect, and I kind of just want to like kind of go through those races. So he came back off the layoff in June, and actually a pretty good race where he was up close to a fast pace, which is encouraging over this track if he can get back to that. And just, you know, considering the pace, he never gave up. He dug in, a really strong effort. And so that effort being kind of off the bench, he regressed on the turf, coming back in just 19 days. And then last time out in the Shepperton, it was just kind of a non-effort, you know, that's a Pink Lloyd race, to where they just, you know, it was kind of a give me race for him, and just not really, we didn't really see the best of him. So I think that he's able to kind of come back into form here, and sitting on a good effort, and should produce value in this field. You know, Salieri, we've talked about him. We know he's fast. We know he's going to go to the front. That's how he's just been, you know, winning these races and performing well. I mean, even last time out, big effort on the front end. We thought he'd kind of back up a little bit. He did back up a little bit. A bigger test here, and he could be on a regression pattern, but does kind of look to hook up with a few others. In terms of Piven, I'm not as excited about him. I thought last time out was like the perfect spot, him coming back around that longer extended sprint. The 5.5 is just a little bit concerning in terms of trip. You know, they're drawn outside, so they have to make a decision whether they're going to get caught wide or take back and try to save ground. We already saw what taking back does over this course from an 8 post. So just in terms of trip at 5.5, I mean, you go back to the last one, he was able to kind of save ground. He was able to get up late with that race kind of slowing back. And I just don't know if that's going to be quite the same scenario here for him. So, you know, looking at a price, I think I'm going to kind of stick with 6, you know, watch the board. But yeah, I'm curious to you guys and your thoughts on this race.
Yeah, I like that you've gone with the price there. The 6 is one that I wrote off for the exact reason you pointed to. His form is kind of, you know, it's a little sort of muddied up when you look at those last few races. And I tried to find a reason to like him. And I think if you go 3 back, I mean, you probably have one. And if you go further back, there are a couple other really nice races. And the other good thing, as we mentioned, is that he could be forwardly placed, but not exactly on top of the lead. I think Alacrisius, the 7, and, you know, Salieri, our old friend, the 4 horse are probably, I mean, I know speed's been good, but those 2 are going to probably be going, you know, breakneck pace. I mean, it's going to be really, really hot up front. And so, look, if either of them holds up, then, you know, we're really dealing with a major speed bias here. But I think that maybe more likely it's a horse just in behind them who benefits from them going head to head. Ashley, how did you see it?
I agree with Emily overall, except for Piven. I wouldn't toss Piven. I mean, I know like the last time it did work out for him. The trip that he got, it worked out beautifully for him, and I liked Piven that day, definitely at that price too. But I looked at that last race. I know he was in a different barn at the time, but his last race at 5.5. I mean, he still got to the front somewhat early. I know they didn't go as fast as they could go today, but even looking at the last race, they weren't blistering. We thought they could go quicker. So that's kind of, I'm torn on, you know, you look at Rafael Hernandez, he's going to have to make a decision. And if this kind of plays out the way the same race does, you don't want to be from off the pace. And that's why I think Emily has a valid point with the kind of the most recent race and definitely doubting him. 7-2, I'd probably take him and just hopefully they'll try to get him closer to the front. But I don't know. This is another race. Like, I wish Hitters Park was in this race. I kind of was going to go on that same path again. A horse that we haven't talked about too much is Silent Jimmy. Last time out was second, 6-1 morning line. I expected this horse to take a little play. I was a little surprised by 3-1 maybe, because, you know, I feel for a horse like this. I mean, I know, you know, you look at his record, he's 3 for 34, but I look at his record at Woodbine. He doesn't have a win yet, but he's always kind of knocking on the door. And last time, he ran a great race. I mean, he outran his odds, that's for sure. He was 30-1, and you look at him, the shortest price you've got on him in his last, 7 or 8 starts is like 11-1. And now you're actually getting him way below that value-wise. He's just a horse in this spot. I can't endorse someone like him because he's going to come from off the pace, and I really don't see that panning out for him. I think he's going to be too far back, and these horses are going to be in front of him. The one's a very logical horse. This is this horse's first start over a synthetic surface of any sort. But I mean, he's got class. You kind of look who he was facing and the competition he was facing, especially in New York. Tough races, even, you know, his race at Gulfstream. He's a very hard knocking horse. Mike Doyle, not sure if he's getting a lot of the Stronach horses this year. I pulled up on the formulator kind of how many horses he's had in the last year. I think he's 1 for 9 out of 9 different horses or something like that. But they've hit the board, I think, in maybe 4 of 9. So here, I think I'm going to go with the doubles. I got to look at the payouts, though. But I'll use the 8, and then I think I have to shop around. I mean, I would hate to use the 1 and the 8 here and favorites there, but I may end up going on that path.
I absolutely hate the 1 here. I'll be upfront. I hate the 1 here. I think that this is not a race. This horse is not expected to win this race. This horse coming back at 5.5 furlongs when, you know, his most recent races were all going longer. Mike Doyle, in the past 5 years, bringing horses back on the all-weather at Woodbine after a long break like this, 2 for 29. Both were lower level claimers and maidens. I'm not excited about Timber Ghost. 5-2, they can keep. And if the horse beats me, the horse beats me. I will say we do have confidence here from one of our viewers who missed the show last week, but is 3 for 3 with winners on your show. Fingers crossed if I make a pick. Daily double. You can't just throw that out there without giving us a pick. So we're waiting. You let us know who you like, and we'll go from there. Pops is back in this week. I got a text from him offline saying he didn't hit the last race, so he's going to be firing back even harder here. If you got comments, questions, or if you've got picks, let us know who you're going with here. We've got 20 minutes to race 7.
Has anyone looked at the double payouts yet?
They just flashed across the bottom. Who are you looking at?
Well, I just think it's interesting. A horse that we haven't talked about this week, but we talked about in the past. Circle of Friends is taking a lot of money in the doubles.
Yeah, he's an interesting horse because, you know, last time out when we were talking about the pace scenario of that race, he's one that we kind of expected him to be forwardly placed. He's done a lot of his good work when he's forwardly placed. And then last time out, he broke slow. And then that kind of aided him because he was able to come from off the pace as that race kind of started to slow late. We saw that just in terms of race shape. And so for him, I mean, Trip is going to be completely dependent on how he gets out of the gate today, which is one of those factors at a short price. Like, you don't know if he gets out of the gate and breaks clean, he's going to be forwardly placed. If he doesn't, maybe they take back, maybe they rush, you know, one of those things. But yeah, I think a lot of the action is based on his last effort, which again was a good effort. Like it's tough to knock, but he did have those factors in his favor. And a similar trip like that today over this course, going shorter, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, he broke a little slow on June 6th. On June 25th, he got out of the gate like a shot. So, you know, you just don't know kind of where this 6-year-old gelding is right now and what he's gonna do. So, you know, yeah, a win would not be a surprise, but just not a type I would want to trust right now at a short price.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I just look at those last few races. That last race was super brave, and I thought it was a really strong effort. I thought the horse would throw in the towel after the trip last out, and really just battled to the wire pretty impressively. You know, I don't think this track right here is conducive to that exactly. And then when you look at the race 2 back in the Jacques Cartier, when the horse showed a little bit more speed early, I don't think he wants to be on the front end. You can see previously a couple of times when he's been on the front end, he's kind of giving it up late. So I don't think that's the right place for him here. Might just be a victim of the way the track is playing and pace dynamics in this particular race. Just to go back to the 2-horse Silent Jimmy, this was my pick coming into the race, coming into the day. Second at odds of 30-1 to Pink Lloyd last out in the Shepperton, ran a career top there while switching back to the Tapeta from the turf. Also caught a bit of traffic late there, was clearly just hitting his best stride in deep stretch. In the all-weather race 3 back, he didn't run all that poorly either, despite the 5th place finish. They went fast early in that race, but the speed pretty much held there. Silent Jimmy was the only horse to make a significant move from the back. That was at 5 furlongs. This is 5.5 furlongs. So look, all things being equal and pace being hot and this horse getting the right setup, and if, you know, and potentially if the horse can work out a trip. I think there's a lot of ifs there for 4-1. But that's one that I kind of keyed in on when I was handicapping this race. I thought could run a big one, and obviously I'm not the only one. Horse taking a bit of action at 4-1, down from 6-1. Again, scratch. So that's probably right where you expect him to be right now. Let's talk about the other speed here, who's 20-1 in the morning line now, 16-1. Alacricious. Is there a path to victory for this horse? Obviously, as we've touched on, maybe the track helps him out a little bit, but is this horse faster than Salieri? Emily, what are you seeing there?
No, I don't think he's faster than him. I don't think he can keep up actually early with the 1 or the 4, kind of based on their previous races. And again, he's a horse that just sort of needs his own way on the front end. So if he is challenged by those other horses in terms of trip, again, maybe the track carries him. But this is also a much tougher level than what he's been facing. I mean, even last time out, he had a lone trip and he was all out to hang on. It was a blanket finish. There were 4 horses together at the wire. Before that, a best of the speed. Again, that's a 5 furlong race, kind of a lower par that day, and he's kind of running his top effort. So just kind of seems like he needs that lone trip. In terms of class, looks a little bit light. And then that pace scenario might get to him. But so he looks a little bit below to me.
All right. Ashley, I'm going to ask you to look ahead a little bit here. We expect to have Robert Reid on in a little bit before he comes on. Usually when he comes on, we transition to the harness racing. I'm going to ask you to look ahead so that we can, get to the doubles here and then, be prepared when he gets on to look at the last race, but we'll have a little less time for that. I'm also going to ask you to do it while I take myself off the screen because my battery is running low and I have to readjust. So take it away.
So we wrap it up with $10,000 maiden claiming event going 6 furlongs on the Tapeta. For me, I thought this was a race to spread. This is very similar to the race that we saw. When would have that been? Gosh, like a week or 2 ago, I think. Kind of a same situation. We've actually seen some of these horses race. For me, I did like the 4 Miss Matilda, who's 6-1 morning line. I thought this horse, the first start off the layoff, I kind of drew a line through, but I thought the 2 since then have been really respectable. On the 5th of July, this one was 3rd. Did have a pretty sizable lead and did kind of, toss it up in the end, was beaten by 5 lengths, but still finished 3rd. And then last time out on the cutback to 6.5, actually tried to rate, and it came out to be a better trip, in my opinion, even though from a number standpoint, I used the DRF, was slightly lower, just missed by a half a length in there. So I like that this horse has some early foot, doesn't necessarily need the lead or, can be on the lead, just depending on what happens. And I think, you're cutting back slightly again, so that's okay. The 6, My Sugar Pie, I thought this one would probably take a decent amount of money. Is coming off of a mile turf race in for the $10,000 tag. Finished 2nd, beaten by 3/4. Kind of failed to hold in there, and now you're thinking this is horse cutting back, getting back on the Tapeta. The only other Tapeta race we see is the first startup at Woodbine this year, at least, against much tougher than this field. So, kind of look at the
and had some trouble. It had some trouble that day too.
Yeah, and it just didn't pan out. So I think we saw the connections. One of the horses that I liked, I think it was the Go Me Go, or one of them was the same connections. They do quite well together, the Callahans. And then some other ones. I thought the horses towards the outside of the paper were then the most intriguing ones out of kind of what was left. The 10 is taking a significant drop in class, getting blinkers on. Obviously, I wish this one would have shown more last time out. My final trick, I think, was Daryl Hasmatali runner. It was a bit of a price. This one was the favorite and failed. So now 2nd start, they're already kind of dropping. It's not my favorite angle, but maybe they're just trying to get a win. And I will say you see Rafael Hernandez climbs back aboard. And then I kind of looked a little bit to the 11, the 12. I mean, the 12's doing the same thing as exiting a tougher event, but really hasn't shown much. I mean, the best race from that one, for the most part, was the debut as far as placing. It's kind of been well beaten in those last starts. And then the 11 was 2nd last time out. But I think for me, the 11 has some stamina issues and even showed it at 5.5. So best value on a morning line for me is probably the 4, Miss Matilda.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, with
sorry for that
horse
noise.
too?
That was my top pick. Awesome. All right, I feel good. Ashley has ended every
yeah.
show on fire the past few weeks, so I'm happy
I
we're in
started
agreement.
ice cold though this week, so I'm not feeling it.
The thing with the 12, I mean, just on speed figures alone, she moves up in here just based on the classes that she's coming out of. Her speed figures kind of sit on top. So I think this move just sort of makes sense. She's not on the level of the competition she's been running against, but fits in here. And again, a competitive field. I know you touched on the 10 and would have liked to have seen more. And I'll add a little bit to that trip because there was a couple things that were kind of hidden in there. The track conditions that day were super hot. So it was a day that like some horses preferred it, some didn't. This horse got extremely kind of fractious pre-race, wasted a lot of energy before the race started, had that rail draw, lost a lot of ground early from the inside, and was not asked and showed run through the stretch, was not asked, running on his own, massive gallop out. So I think there's a lot of upside off that trip and just that horse in general because of all the conditions that happened that day. And obviously the class drop, that can't hurt either. The other horses, I have no issue with them. I mean, my Sugar Pie certainly makes sense. Same thing with Miss Matilda. I mean, she probably even upgrades a little bit based on, you know, the track profile if it sticks. But yeah, all those horses. The other one that I was like a little bit interested in that, you know, just kind of a wild card is the number 9, because she just hasn't been at this level. And new face in the field, coming out of those higher races. And just sometimes with these horses, a lot of them have been at this level and just not got the job done. So I don't mind taking kind of a new face, a lesser, I see your lights flashing. It's a poltergeist moment.
Did you see that?
I did, yes.
All right, guys, if you lose me. I trust you with this. You bring us home, all right?
So hopefully everything's okay there. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all in alignment, and the overall feel is in that race is it's one you want to spread pretty deep in to just have a little bit of confidence.
I take it you both while I was gone, made strong cases for Hope Garden.
Hope and Prayers Garden.
You would be a better salesman on that.
Look, you know, I loved her when she raced at 77-1 a few weeks ago. You look at that trip she had. I'm gonna make an excuse for her. I mean, look, she could have finished 3rd with a better trip, in my opinion. She finished 5th. It really was like, I don't know. Look, I don't like to say a terrible ride. But look, she could have done better than she did. She's got a lot of courage. I see some good spirit in her, and I think
you have hope in Hope Garden, is what I'm hearing.
I have so much hope in Hope Garden. Look, laugh now. She's probably not going to win. Tonight's the night, though. You got to use her underneath in your exotics. Use her on your ticket. She's going to be 60-70-1 again. I'm telling you, she's doing better. She's feeling better. She's going to get a good setup. She's on the rail. She's going to be a little closer to the pace. Hope Garden at just a ridiculous price in your exotics. Let me just, I don't want to repeat anything you've said already. You guys touched on Just Call Me Candy, the 11 horse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we saw that one a few weeks back. I thought she had a good shot as well. How about Mahoney Bay, the 5 horse, or Mahone Bay?
All you, go for it.
All right. Yeah, so look, I thought she could be forgiven for the finish last out, considering she was sitting 3 wide on a 3-way pace stool through a sub 46 half, going a mile. And so she backed up. Naturally, she backed up. She was going way too fast and she was wide. In her previous race, though, she got an even more bizarre ride when she was rushed to the front, got a clear lead, and then in some sort of attempt to slow the horse down, the jockey allowed half the field to like surround her and ultimately forced her to take up and get shuffled back. I mean, she could have just kept going. She was clearly the fastest horse out of the gate. And given what we've seen tonight, I think she's an intriguing play. I mean, we know that she has the speed to get out there. And so, again, as I was looking through my notes here, this horse is 20-1, has, you know, I mean, her jockey has 1 win at the meet. So I will say that, but it's a new jockey at least. We've had jockey switches each of the last 2 races with this horse, and rightfully so. I mean, like, you couldn't ride this horse worse than the previous 2 jockeys have. And so I think if today's jockey lets the horse do what she wants to do, which is go to the lead, this would be the day to do it. At 20-1, I mean, I think at the very least she hangs on for a piece. And, you know, I would throw her in some smaller doubles. For me, the horse, as I touched on earlier, who I love in the doubles here is Miss Matilda, the 4 horse. My main double play will be to the 4 Miss Matilda, but I will play some smaller doubles to Mahoney Bay, the 5. And then just call me Candy, even though, like, I mean, I don't love the draw. I think she's going to have some work to do from the outside. You know, I don't know that she's got, you know, she's going to have to get back. She's going to have to do what she did last time, which is kind of clear and get into that nice sort of stalking trip just outside the leader. And maybe she can do that again. But I think we'll have to work a little harder for it. Another one that I thought was decent was Born to Be Good, but I think you talked about that one, right? The 12 horse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, really kind of upgrades in this spot. I mean, there's races that she runs back to, going back to her second start, and even the turf race this year, coming back off the layoff. Both those numbers kind of tower this field. So, yeah, she, from that perspective, you know, could be the horse to beat.
All right. So people are asking specifically for the double plays. They want the double plays. Ashley, give us the double play.
Well, before, hold on. One question.
No build up. No story. No,
it's
just
not
give us
a
the
story. It's a question. Does
Okay.
anyone have a case for the 3 Enhanced Finance?
Here.
You know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, wait, you're talking about in the finale,
In the last,
right?
yeah, in the finale.
Last
Yeah,
race.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think she's impossible. She's just hard to get excited about. I mean, she looks pretty common. One that I could say could hit the board. You know, there's others that I like in terms of double, but I wouldn't, you know, if you liked her and wanted to throw her on it would certainly make sense.
I just look, she's got a sharper breeze. She's going to a new barn. I know the barn.
Blinkers on.
There's not a lot to go off a numbers standpoint, but you're getting blinkers on. 2 starts ago. Was forwardly placed. I don't know. I'm like talking myself on more horses. I feel like we talked about maybe 9 runners in a 12-horse race, which proves my point. I think if you're playing a double, you have to spread here.
Throw her in. All right, so give us the double play. What are you going to use here, and who do you think you might use in the next?
I'm struggling. I'm definitely using the 8 here. I need to find another horse. You've talked me like off the 1 slightly.
Sorry, I mean, I don't think the horse wins here.
I know from a price standpoint, I think the 6 was the one Emily mentioned, right? From a price. So I'm trying to price shop. To me, the 3 at 2-1 is too low of a price. I don't want anything to do with that. So I'd be looking more to the 1 or the 2. Looks like they're doing something. I don't know if they're just adjusting the saddle. But in the next race, I like the 3 and the 4 and the 6, and then I'll probably use the 12. If I'm going to use 2 here. So I'm still trying to find my other horse here, but in the last, I think I'm going to use the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 12. All
right. You're on record. Emily, go.
Oh, now I have no choice.
Yeah, I'm way more I'm way skinnier and much more gamble. Okay, if I lose, I'm gonna use only 6 here. And then such a risk in the next race, but I'm gonna gamble, go all prices, even though I have a price here. 9, 10, 12. My final answer. Leaving 6 and 4 off. I have other horses written down. 6 and 4 would be the next 2. 8 and 11 would be the next. Would be like the next tier. But yeah, I mean, I gotta play tight. So.
Now I'm thinking, should I join you with this 6? I mean, I can't.
No, I'm gonna use the 8. I'm gonna go 8, 9, 10, 12. I'm throwing that one in. It's just too crazy of a price. I can see the races this horse can win with.
We can adjust. That's an easy fix.
Yeah.
Easy fix. All right. So here's the updated ticket. I've got to actually bet this race. I've got to.
And it's a win bet on 6 as well.
All right.
Emily's like smitten. She loves the 6.
She does.
I just don't love anybody else, to be honest. That's what it comes down to. Is it's not so much that I love the 6, it's that I don't like.
Yeah, this one's more tolerable.
I don't like the others.
You don't love Salieri or Old Friend?
You know, I mean, Salieri is very, very cold on the board. Very
Salieri's
cold
been
on the
so
board.
good to us.
I know, and that's why he should be taking a lot more money than he is right now. It is a little on the concerning side. Am I right? I mean, why is this horse? Why is Salieri the longest shot in the field?
It makes no sense.
Makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. There's some reason, and it's like, it's not because we're all dumb. I'll tell you that much. Because on paper, he should not be the longest shot in the field.
All right. I can't make any sense of this race. This is my ticket. I'm going 4 deep here, and then I'm only using Miss Matilda in the last. So there it is. Let's see. Oh, this, yeah.
This is a really tricky sequence.
It is, totally. Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a track profile playing against us. So that's, you know, a lot of luck, man. A lot of luck.
All right, here's a daily double. 2 with all, backup bet, all with 2 in the exacta. So this is our hot hand here, daily double SW. Let's see what this is. Sean Patrick Nolan. Doyle usually gives the Jerkins runners off a layoff a race back before going full out. See American Guru last year. Liking Piven in this spot. All right, so Sean Patrick Nolan, you can blame him too, Ashley, if this horse wins. Don't just blame me for talking you off the one. You could blame Sean now as well.
I can't. He's just too nice. That's the thing. Like, I can't. I'm not saying you're not nice, Dan, but I'm just saying Sean Patrick Nolan's nicer than you. So
I am not SPN nice. There's only one SPN. So I got to do a small double into Hope Gardens. I'm doing it. Hold on. Just a small one. All right. And even my Mahone Bay, I got to put $1 or $2 into that. I made such a emphatic case about it.
That's why I went so tight in that last race, because it's like you could go through it and you could add you could feasibly hit all. But I think it's better to just, in some cases like that, it's like you're not going to win every bet. You got to take a stand. If you loved a horse here, you could maybe make a case for it, or all, and you hate the favorite in the next leg. But it just comes down to sometimes you just got to make those tough decisions.
All right, they're off. Let me know if you hear the audio.
A Salieri and Super Success. They
audio's good.
The pack, 3.5 to Piven. Their circle of friends, Timber Ghost and Silent Jimmy is last. They're toiling up front at a very fast pace. Salieri out of the lead from on the outside, Alacritus and splitting them Super Success. They continue on by 4 lengths to Circle of Friends and Piven, 4 or 5, Timber Ghost and Silent Jimmy.
Alacritus. I definitely butchered that.
Speed duel is intense. It's Salieri, Super Success.
As in Alacritus.
I wouldn't have done any better. So my lips are sealed.
Starting to wind up. Timber Ghost on the inside. Super Success grabbed the lead from Salieri.
Super Success.
And now Piven and Circle of Friends make their move.
That opening quarter could have got us though.
Down the home stretch.
Looks like 3-8 is the way I would call it right now.
Super Success. And trying to get after them is Silent Jimmy on the outside, finishing on Piven and Circle of Friends, and down the outside.
Ooh, 2 coming on the outside.
Come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
Got him. Silent Jimmy.
Wow, nice job.
On the Tapita, start number 22.
Nicely done.
All right, Jimmy overcame for me. That wasn't too bad at all. Sorry. I'm not supposed to win. You're supposed to win. That's how this goes every week.
It's all good. It was a good call.
You needed that after the Meadowlands last weekend.
Oh, no, now you're going to bring up all of it. You're going to bring up my Ellis Park losses this week.
I didn't know about those, so thanks for sharing.
Ellis Park, Indiana. Indiana's tough. Emily, you do Indiana, right?
Oh, yeah.
How the hell do you handicap that track?
I handicap it just like everything else. I've been on that track for 2 years. I have a trip note for every horse. I watch every race every day, live, everything about it. Know kind of the idiosyncrasies of the track. But I think it's one of those, and like Woodbine too, and even San Anito, those are like the 3 tracks that I cover. you know, you have to understand horses' form cycle, especially at these tracks like Indiana, like Woodbine, where these horses come back and they race against each other all the time. You know, knowing a horse that can run well turning back on 9 days versus a horse that runs back on 30 days, you know, all those like little things in terms of form cycle. But yeah, if you just try to jump in on a random day and like grab a racing form, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even imagine. I mean, that's why we built optics, so you can have all those notes and everything at your disposal, because otherwise, I mean, it is just, you are up against it. So did you try to play on Wednesday? Because that was like the big day.
So I wasn't. I should mention this actually, because it's something that's good and it's positive. The Grayson Jockey Club is doing, thanks to Indiana Grand. There's a promotion where myself, along with a few other handicappers, Nick Luck, the whole handicapping team at Indiana Grand, Gabe Pruitt, who actually knows well from the harness world, are basically in a competition to try to raise money for the Grayson Jockey Club. And so I had to handicap 2 races, the Indiana Grand Stakes and the Caesar Stakes. It did not go well at all. It was a disaster. And so now that I'm now connecting dots here, I probably should just say, Emily, can I like default to you? You could actually submit my bets for me. I will happily concede, because this is for charity. This isn't for my bankroll.
I asked him, I was like, you guys should have had me. I follow this track. I'm qualified, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, my best bet of the day that I read it for Woodbine was the horse Hendy Woods that won that.
Oh, man, that was your best bet of the day?
That was my best bet of the day. She was 20-1 morning line. I thought that was crazy. I thought she'd be, you know, half of that would have been a fair morning line and half of that would have been fair odds. So her winning at 8-1 was great. I mean, she just had so much class and was coming off such a sneaky trip at Churchill. But yeah, she was very live in that spot.
Hand it to Nick Luck.
I would have been 500 on her and just like bailed on the second race.
Exactly.
I would have been done. That's how I play. I would have been like, that's what I like. I'm getting a great price.
No, had I known you were that confident in the horse, obviously I would have said, put me on that one. Nick Luck, again, who I suspect knows nothing about Indiana Grand, even though he knows everything about every other track in the world. Not only did he have that was his big win bet of the day, he also hit the try in the Caesar. So it had a really nice day. I think he raised something like $500 or $600 on his couple of bets that he did. So I mean, we've still got a few weeks to do better. So hopefully I'll do that. I should also mention Ellis Starr, Uber Capper, is also one of the handicappers, and it was pretty active on social media promoting it. It's the Grayson Grass Challenge. If you haven't seen it, check that out on social. And also, there's no reason you can't support Grayson as well while you're watching along and playing along. I should also mention, while I'm talking about Ellis will be with me on Saturday for a special edition of Woodbine coverage here, Woodbine Live, Woodbine Oaks Day at Woodbine. They've got the Oaks, there's the Plate Trial, there's the King Edward Stakes. The Bold Venture, really good card at Woodbine on Saturday. It'll be live at 4:00. So if you're looking to get in on some Woodbine action on Saturday, join us. Same channels as you're watching on right now. And Ellis will be in to handicap with us. And if Emily and Ashley like anything, they promise to email their picks in, because they're way too busy. We can't get Emily and Ashley every single day of the week. So, all right. Robert Reid Jr. is hanging out. Let's see. There he is.
What's going on?
RRJ. How you doing, brother?
The Hawk.
I'm not at the Hawk, actually. I'm at Woodbine today, oddly enough.
Oh, it doesn't look like it.
I'm sitting in the Woodbine Club right now. Not much happening in here, though. Not much happening. Just me with my lonesome. So, yeah.
Well, that's good, though, right? You're able to focus on your handicapping or give us some winners?
That's right. Yeah, I can see the track, which is cool, but you know me, I'd rather see the standard-bred variety. But hey, I'm okay. I like the thoroughbreds too. I'll let you guys direct me with who to play in the next here at Woodbine. But yeah, I've been sitting here working on the card, and there's some interesting stuff tonight. I'm sure Dan's gonna like it, especially the left pick 4 ticket. But the 3 races that we have, to cover are really fantastic and culminate, with a series final of the Millard Farms Trot, which is going to be just a fantastic race that I love over them. So excited.
I feel like I've listened to enough of your analysis to now, like, I could drop Millard Farms in a conversation and I could do it with some degree of confidence. And people could be like, what the heck are you talking about? I'd be like, look, if you know, you know. I mean, if you don't, you don't. Before we jump into the action at Mohawk, I just wanted to give everyone a quick look at the board. These odds are updated. Am I right? Are these current odds?
Mm-hmm.
Current odds
For the final for the finale at Woodbine. Yep. So Born to Be Good, the 12 horse, opens as your favorite at 2-1. Miss Matilda, the horse who I think we all liked, is 3-1, down from 6-1 on the morning line. Let me see if anything else is taking any sort of noticeable action here. The 9 horse, Sixth Society, 20-1 down to 10-1. The 8 Business Class, 20-1 down to 14-1. Now, although it's early, the 6 horse My Sugar Pie, who is your morning line favorite at 5-2, is currently 8-1. Enhanced Finance is a horse we talked a little bit about, has some speed, 10-1 morning line, 8-1 right now. So there's still plenty of time for that to change. Also, Solitude is Bliss, 5-1. You get about double that price right now on Solitude is
You finally
Bliss.
mentioned the horse that I like. So I'm
Solitude
glad.
is Bliss?
Last time I was just off the board, missed the board completely with who I like. But this time, at least, maybe I'm on the radar.
Got to mention here. All right, let me pull this off the screen. Robert Reid Jr., for those of you who don't know, author of the Horse Players Journal in the Mohawk program every single night of the week. You can check his picks out there. Robert, as I pull up the screen for Mohawk, do you want to set up the night here for us a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So where we've always been, well, not always starting, but where we always end up at some point, and we're going to see that quite a bit through this sequence tonight, the first 2 races. We're starting off with 2-year-olds. Ontario Sire, 2-year-olds, non-winners of 5,800 lifetime. So again, horses that race on the OSS, or at least can race on the OSS circuit, that haven't really had much success so far in their career. And then, the great thing about tonight's card is we get a real low-end condition race, so a real unpredictable, anything can happen kind of race in between. And then we finish off with that Millard Farms series final for 2-year-old trotters, where we're going to get to watch Macho Martini again, who I think is just an absolute monster. So looking forward to that one.
We know Macho Martini now. I feel like Macho Martini has gotten quite a few call-outs on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to that one. But the one thing listen, I'm going to warn everyone tonight, and maybe not for like the first couple, well, probably the first race, but not all 3 races that we're going to see here. I think it's a big night of favorites. And when we do get to the pick 4 later on, it's a cold punch. Okay, so I'm letting you know right now, We're cold punching it. We're playing it straight. We're not giving up any equity. And
even Emily looked interested.
And we're going to play it for a 50 shot at least. Okay,
with the
at least. Probably more than that. I just didn't have a $100 bill on me, so I'm just letting you know right now. That's what we're doing tonight.
Wow! Oh my, Emily, any thoughts?
At a short price. Now gets to well, at first I was like, oh, all short price, but then I like the aggressive attitude. So
yeah, no, we're not playing around tonight. It's listen, it's hit or miss. We can get 3 keys down. That's not going to be good enough. We need 4. And I did have a little bit of criticism from some of my friends. They said, "Oh, the Journal guy tonight's Mr. Chalk player," but I'm not going to try to beat horses that I don't think can lose. If I see a horse that can beat them, sure, we'll go for it. But honestly, tonight, I think the late pick sequence especially is just a cold punch. And I think the 3rd race, which we will see tonight, is a horse that can't lose as well.
We'll take it. I haven't seen this confidence from you since week 1 of this show. When you came on, you were like, "Hi, I'm Robert Reid Jr., and I'm going to give you 4 picks. I'm going to give you a pick 4, and I'm going to give you 3 singles. So enjoy." And all 3 singles won. I haven't seen this confidence since then.
And in that
Well,
qualifier,
we're there tonight. Let's hope for the best. Or, like I said, I hope I don't go home with the elephant ears like last week. That didn't end up so nicely. Our key did win again, though. Our single won.
Right.
Everything leading up to it was a disaster. But our horse finally won, Dan.
Of course. When we weren't looking, he finally didn't break stride.
Isn't that the way? $30 on Tuesday night. We played him every start of his career except that one.
Yeah.
Might be someone.
All right, let's make some money here. You want to set up this first race? Ashley, Robert, you guys can flip for it. Who wants it?
Robert can have it.
Oh, okay.
There's no flipping. There's just like, it's yours.
Go.
Okay, perfect. Well, like I said, Ontario Sire 2-year-olds, non-winners of $5,800 lifetime. And, we saw one of these horses last week. He's my buddy. If you remember, we had a viewer actually come on and kind of tip his hand to that horse from the 9 hole. He's back in here. My selection, though, lands, in the 1 spot, currently 7-5, now 6-5. The price is probably going to keep going down, which is unfortunate. But this horse in Charlottetown PEI in his first lifetime start on July 25th on a half-mile track was on the lead and looking like it was going to be a walk in the park when the driver asked him a little bit and he made a break in stride, which I know, as Dan points out, we do see it frequently in these 2-year-old races.
We bring it out of him here.
Yeah, so the horse broke in stride and immediately lost about 15 lengths on the field. The driver was able to gather the horse up. Horse recovered to finish 4th, but really that last 8th or 16th, this horse sprouted wings to get up for 4th. So now moving to the Anthony Beaton barn, and this horse has been, Anthony has just been fantastic this year with 2-year-olds, and I think he can do wonders with this horse. Sylvain Filion and the bike. Again, 6-5 is not the ideal price, but I think this horse will be very difficult to beat. And for the second spot, I landed on He's My Buddy, who we saw last time. Gate speed. He'll be firing off the wings again. First time Jody Jamieson tonight. When he does jump on a horse for the first time, he usually drives them very aggressively. So I'm expecting that tonight from him on this one. And if he does get to the early lead or can sit the 2-hole, then certainly he's not a horse to be discounted. Currently at 3-1. And then the horse that I think might be worth a play at a bit of a price, and he's taking money, which I like. 6-1 on the 5 was a first time starter. Jimmy Connor B. When this horse qualified, his most recent qualifier, he came home in 26-4, and he just looked really strong in that last quarter. And it was the first time he's really shown anything in his qualifiers, which makes me think that they haven't been working him and trying him too aggressively in the mornings, prepping for this. So I definitely think that this is a horse you don't want to leave off your tickets, and currently at 9-1. And really for the 4th spot, I put the 3 in there, and currently 20-1, which is a huge overlay on this horse. We spoke last week about a horse that I think me and Ashley both picked for 3rd, and that horse came in at 25-1. Well, this is one here where if you're looking for value, the 3 drowns the whiskey. Bet down to 4-1 last time in a division of the OSS Grassroots, made the lead, ended up tiring. Something went amiss. That was July 6th. There's been some time now to kind of get everything rectified. And tonight at 20-1, that's way too big of a price on this horse. So if for those out there that say, hey, I'm not playing 3-5, Robert, stop picking chalk, let's start, giving a look to maybe the 3 at 20-1, because that is way too big of a price on him. Ashley, what do you think?
I think it's all 1-6 as far as, a horse that's going to win. It's going to be the 1 or the 6, in my opinion. Price shopping, I agree. I mean, I think the 3 and the 5 offer value. I maybe would lean a little bit more to the 5, who's the shorter price. But a horse that I'm going to use, we haven't mentioned, who's probably a silly bet in a way. I'm intrigued a little bit by the 2, who was 8-1 morning line, and just slowed it off to 18-1, because nothing has ever gone right for this horse, especially in terms of post. From what you can see here, those first 2 qualifiers, both the 7 post. Then was a vet scratch in that the Sire Stakes. Then in the next race, they were 2nd tier out of the 9, and then most recently was back to the 7. Now this horse actually gets a good draw towards the inside, not on the inside though. Not necessarily like a horse like this I'd be really intimidated for if the horse did have the rail post. Jonathan Drury, he does a fine job. I just think this horse 2 has shown some late foot. I mean, at least has gotten home and hasn't been like staggering home, 27-4 and different things like that. So for a price, I can't even talk. From a price perspective, yeah, I'd use this horse for third. I mean, give the horse a shot. This is just a race to me. The 1 and the 6 are so far clear of everyone else that everyone else is kind of on a level playing field. So to me, the 2 might have a shot.
You know what? Looking at the horse more, you know, this is a drop in class. I mean, you know, non-winners of 12,000 life last time, but I mean, the competition, Saratoga Blue Chip would be a huge favorite in this race, and post 7 back to 10th, no chance at any point. So, you know, I can get behind that at 19-1. I can definitely get behind this horse on the ticket at 19-1, and I think that that is another spot you might want to go, you know, shopping underneath. You know, again, I would agree the 1 and the 6 are definitely the 2 horses to beat. The 1's made a miscue already in his career, and on the lead too, which, you know, something that you don't want to see. But again, super impressive last time, and I would agree it's the 1-6 of the horses to beat, and I think I'm hoping we've got it covered with 2, 3, 5 and behind.
All right, Robert. Let's get you on record with the ticket here. Are you doing a try? You're doing an exacta? You sitting out? You watching? What are you doing here? 1-6 on top with?
I'm gonna go 1 with 6 with 2, 3, 5 and just play it for a number.
Okay, so just a straight try there.
Yeah, 1 with 6 with 2, 3, 5, and I won't share the number we're gonna play it for, but we'll play it for a number.
Okay, Ashley.
1-6 with 2. I'm just going for it at this point. I don't want a 1-6 exacta.
Cold punch.
So what is that? You doing just an exacta?
Yes, 1-6 with 2.
Oh, 1-6 with 2. Okay.
Because I don't. If this comes in 1-6,
it's not going to be. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Go big or go home. And it's still not going to be that big. It's about 45 shots.
What's that noise? Somebody listening to some hip hop? What do we got there? Is that the track?
Not me.
Where's that sound coming from? Is that me?
Maybe.
Yeah, could be.
It's all quiet here.
Oh, let's see. A couple of people on. Kodiak gets an early lead, Gio Ponte says. Maybe gets Brave.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that horse's last race. 8-1 right now, taking some action. I thought that you know, he should have had a little bit more last time, and that was against a group that, you know, wasn't the strongest group either. So, but good luck to Gio Ponte.
Let me know if you don't hear the audio here once this starts up. Just a reminder, if you're punching in those late tickets, Robert's ticket, he's betting a trifecta, cold, straight, sort of cold, semi-cold, 2/3 of the way cold and straight. 1 on top of 6, on top of 2, 3, 5 in the 3rd spot. And Ashley is keeping it even simpler. Exacta, the 1 and 6 over the 2 horse. Hoping the 2 can finish second at 20-1 right now. Ashley's value play, which Ashley's value play last week, I believe, came in every single race. So definitely a horse to consider if you're punching in those tickets. Last second. Let's see. Okay. So Daily Double earlier said he liked your outlook, Robert, of just basically just whatever favorites, if that's what they're giving you, hammering it hard late. So we'll get that ticket later on from Robert, figure out what he's playing later this evening at Mohawk. In this race, though, Daily Double is passing.
First race are in behind the starting gate. Kickoff Thursday racing here at Mohawk Park.
I can respect that decision.
Starting from the rail,
who are you picking?
Eagle Anthony Beaton takes over the training on that son of sports writer.
What's the selection? Did you get any response there, Emily?
Here tonight.
No. He's out. He likes closers.
My buddy. Post time for the opener.
All right, you hear the audio? Everything sounds good?
You can hear it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're off. The Ontario Sarah 2-year-old Pacers are driving into the opening turn from the outside. He's my
Looks
buddy.
like it's going to be the 4 and the 6 early.
And pushing from the rail goes Twin B Eagle out fast. Philion keeps them 3 deep. On that early lead, it's
first one to give is Trevor Henry on the 4. Looks like Jody's going to take down 2. So
still out there.
The
Third
favorite
is
is on the
Money,
point.
but he'll retreat to find that 3-hole trip to the opening quarter. Want to Beach
7 to
off the
5
speed,
now in this
450
horse. I mean,
inside to Drowns the
look at the
Whiskey.
late money he's my
6
buddy
over
took.
Finkel is
Down to 7 to
Einhorn.
5 on the 6.
Final 2 in the
Wow.
field are Bet on Blake and Jimmy Connor B trails. Opening quarter with 26 and 4 speed from Twin B Eagle, who's into the backstretch.
Pretty
Operating
legit
at a
quarter,
3-length
that's for sure.
advantage over Kodiak Sealster. Then He's My Buddy and Want to Beach. It's 2 more lengths to Drowns the Whiskey.
Two's
3
definitely in a
to
good
Finkel is
spot. I mean,
Einhorn,
sitting
followed inside
4th
by
right
Bet
now.
on Blake, and almost 2 to Jimmy Connor B. Field across the backstretch, coming to the midway point. Twin B
Half's
Eagle
reasonable,
touches down there
55
at
and 4. Still
55
pretty
and
good for
4.
this group, though.
Second panel stepped in 29 seconds. Into the final turn goes Twin B Eagle. It is Twin B Eagle, the one to catch, as he leads them up to 3/4. Second inside.
Might be hard to get the
Kodiak
4 off the
Sealster.
ticket
He's My
now.
Buddy third. Want to Beach is fourth.
Bravening
Now
up, too, in the
15
2-hole.
to Drowns the Whiskey. 6th and Overland starts
That's
up.
the one,
Finkel is
Kodiak,
Einhorn.
right?
Oh, and now he just gave way.
Bet on Blake and Jimmy Connor
We got a shot at this.
He heard you.
at-
He heard you.
at this- Yeah, he did. He heard me. I put the mush on him, which is good for me. So
29 speed again in that third quarter, middle half, and 58 to work with. And it's Twin B Eagle coming into the stretch. He gets a
Oh, that too is like boxed in there.
reminders from filling up,
Yeah.
keep on trucking in. He does. Still there, second.
Oh, there's
outside
the 2
comes
now,
He's My
moving a
Buddy.
little bit.
The biggest
What if
Yeah,
moving
he
the
got
back
like
row?
He got boxed
in,
in,
and he
though.
needed to
is
get
our
out.
first time
And
starter
he
the
is
5 that we talked
absolutely
about is
flying.
moving well
But
Yeah,
to
coming
get up to
closing.
inside, Eagle will
second.
take it. Filling out snuck a peek over his right
Yeah,
So it
tough
runs
trip there.
it runs 1-5-6.
Came on for second. Third was He's
I
My
don't know
Buddy.
much about
One mile
harness,
was
Ashley, but I would be playing that 2 back off that trip.
I mean,
That
he
was
was
like
actually
almost
making up
an
like a
excuse.
nice move, and then it was like brakes on, and then it was you can't do anything about it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was it's a big mile, 152 flat. This horse is everything that we kind of thought he was. And again, 7 to 5 might have been price I could get interested in. I thought he was going to go down. He actually went up. And the 5, the first time starter, I mean, he really looked good under the wire. He's one to bet back for sure. He's My Buddy, kind of gave way late. And then photo for 4th right now between the 7 and 8.
All right. So pretty formful there. Your price play did come in, Robert. The first time starter, the nice run to finish second. So if you were following along, hopefully you got a piece of that. We're going to go ahead and switch screens here so that we can get to the. Were you attempting to take a nap there, Ashley?
No, I'm studying. I need action, so I'm already thinking about what to do.
It looked like you were nodding off there.
And jockey Emile Rams.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's getting closer to my bedtime.
Only 50
And
minutes
Sona's-
left. We're good.
That's for all of us in solidarity.
All right, so we've got 6 minutes to race 8 here at the finale at Woodbine. Your favorite is still the horse way on the outside, the 12 horse who we suspected would take some action, Born to Be Good. Miss Matilda is also sort of a consensus pick here, the 4 horse down to 4-1 off the 6-1 morning line. Other horses taking a little bit of play. The 10, Solitude is Bliss. When we last checked the board, the horse was about 9-1. 10-1 is now 9-2. So steady action on Solitude is Bliss to get back down to 9-2. And the other horse who's taken steady action from the open is 6 Society, the 9 horse, 20-1 morning line down to 8-1 right now. I think it's a little surprising, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. There are a couple others here who started a bit lower, 3, 10-1 down. I mean, up to 9-1, 19-1 right now. And so I think those are probably the noticeable sort of shifts in the odds. What about 6 Society? I might have missed what you said about the horse earlier when I was moving around.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't shown much in those starts, but it is against tougher and just a lot of changes going on. So, from the perspective of, all these horses have been kind of running at this level and running evenly and not getting the win. It's not the worst spot to take a new face. It was kind of the angle. It's borderlining a little bit too short. You got to keep your eye on there. You got to kind of make a call at that point. Just kind of based on the running lines and and all that stuff. To me, I mean, right now I'm looking at a win bet on the 8. I know the most recent races look like absolutely nothing on paper, but there's some subtle excuses in there. She was facing much tougher. Both of those races have come back to be really productive. I mean, these are horses that, I'm looking at optics figures, but most of this field is kind of in like a 50s, 60s range, and she's running against horses that were like running in the upper 60s, 70s. So having some excuses running against that. And then in terms of having the speed figures, I mean, going back to last season, later in the season, she has numbers that are kind of right on par with the 12. So the fact that the 12 being 2-1 and the 8 at 18-1 is just kind of a no-brainer math play. I'll take a stab at that price. Just kind of the only thing. I mean, it's not a race I can play exotics in at all. Unfortunately, my double is dead, so that's kind of my only play right now. I'm looking at a win bet on the 8.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, with the 8 horse in particular, I had notes that I took a couple of notes that didn't reflect anything great. But when you look at it, I mean, this is a filly who has raced against tougher mostly, has a race 3 back at the maiden 25 level that, it's 4 lengths beaten there. You figure she can replicate that effort, at least has a shot here. And that race last out, really the only try at the lower level was ease. So you never know, but they come back with, with a decent jockey, with, in a spot where, again, you're looking at, there's nothing that's really standing out. I mean, if you want to take a swing in any race, this would probably be it, because there isn't anything that stands out on paper. So I like it. What do you got now? 20-1. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, as far as being like ease last time out, I think they kind of just came back a little bit too quick, in like 15 days off the layoff. I mean, I know she didn't run that much, but the race was dominated by the horses forwardly placed. So I think it started, as soon as she kind of was wide and started to lose ground, just kind of wrapped up. And then she's had the time off since. Again, it's a stab, but yeah, I mean, 20-1 is about right to get that type of compensation.
Mm-hmm. Ashley, what do you think? You sitting out, or are you going to play this?
No, I'm not sitting out. No, that's not an option here. This is like a full field where I think this is a wonky race. I mean, it could chalk out.
This is wonky, all right.
It could be something like 12-4. I mean, that's definitely something I could see happening. But, if I like prices, I mean, Emily, originally, even before she went into more in depth on the 8, had mentioned when she was playing the double, the 8 stood out, and I started looking kind of at the races. I could make a case for that one. I'm still curious about the 3. It's a horse that I'm thinking underneath. I think the win would be a stretch, but then again, this is a wonky race. So I'm gonna see right now. I'm gonna look at what some of the exactas are paying, and then circle back.
Yeah, 23-1 seems, I mean, very fair on the 3 horse. I'm not completely understanding. I think at a minimum that horse gets out to the lead, and who else goes with her? I thought, again, the 5, as I mentioned prior, Mahone Bay could potentially go. Has gotten some really weird rides the last few races, but if the jock just lets her go, I think, I think it's those 2 on the front end, one or the other. So if you're just kind of looking for something to get to the front end and hold on, or at least hold on for a piece, you're looking at 23-1 and 39-1 on both those horses. I've got both those horses in my double, so I certainly hope one of them can hold on. It would be nice.
The only other thing I'll point out, I don't know, Emily, I know we talked about the 10 a bit. I don't know if we talked about the 2nd and 3rd place finishers in there today. They raced the Good Witch and Jackie Milton. I believe they were 1st and 3rd. So it's actually been like productive for the horses underneath. Just something to kind of look at. So, and I believe that level today was, I think, similar, but I think it was a turf race.
Correct. Yeah. The Good Witch got like a perfect inside trip. The pace setters came off the inside. Jackie Milton probably could have won. She was sort of in traffic and then got shuffled out. But yeah, both those horses ran really good races today.
Robert, how about you? You got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you're there, Robert. So you have.
I'm here. I mean, I like 10-4 in here. Solitude is bliss. I thought last time didn't like the run on the rail. Draws outside today. Blinkers on. Maintains a great jockey and Rafi. I just the horse is in a better spot today. I like the early on. I'll be honest, when he was 10-1, that's a great. When she was 10-1, that's obviously a nice price. But I'm worried the horse isn't taking any money now. Down to 4-1. That makes a little more sense to me. And I landed on the 4 for second. last time, moved 3 wide. The winner, beat her up the inside. I think that, she's pretty logical here as well. So 10-4, good buddy. For me, that's what I like. I didn't like the 10 looked a little bit washed out. They're going to the gate or going to the gate. It is pretty warm today, though, so that might be the reason why.
I'm putting in some last-minute tickets here. I'm throwing Hope Garden into 1 ticket. Got to. Hope Garden
at
wins.
80 to 1. At 80 to 1, you'd be sick if this horse wins. If you like this horse and you don't have a win bet on this horse at 81 to 1, like, we can't be friends. Don't ask me for my Indiana opinion.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh, I was saying the same thing.
Tough love. Tough love. That horse wins at
at
90 to 1, and you don't have a win ticket.
I have the horse in the double. I got a $2 double.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I hope you're getting more than that.
All right, let's get we need some sound here, don't we?
Okay, Miss Matilda's there with an
you hearing anything?
Pushing for the lead.
Mhm.
On the inside,
Yeah.
Real Chopper taken up a bit as Hope Garden on the rails goes behind mid-pack. And then out wider as they settle into stride is Squeeze. And starting a little bit of a move from the back is Business Class, is Born to Be Good, got back with 6 Society.
Just
And
let this
racing
5
out
go.
narrowly on the inside,
Come
Real
on.
Chopper, Enhancement
One
Answer,
time, let the
Motivate
5
going
go.
back to the
You've got the fastest
Just
horse.
Call-
Go.
Call Me Candy.
Thank you.
Also racing on the pace.
All right,
Fourth
get
is Miss
past. That's
Matilda,
fine. But at
trying
least
to
let
get
the
up
horse
rails.
go.
Hope Garden trying to take off in the back. Solitude is
Fourth's
close.
getting a
Born to Be
great
Good by
trip.
Sugar Pies mid-pack.
Yeah.
Still as they bunch up.
Run of the
12's
race for
making a
sure.
run.
Into rails run and 6 Society the center with Business Class. Just Call Me Candy in front. From Mahone Bay, the rail to Real Chopper. Miss Matilda the outside. Born to Be Good's winding up down the outside
Oh,
as
man,
they
this
come
11's
down the
gonna
stretcher.
take
Just
off.
Call Me Candy is finding. Got out to lead
Come
by a
on,
length and a half to
Matilda,
Miss
get
Matilda.
up.
Come on.
They're clear. Just Call
Get
Me
up
Candy
one
not
time
going
with
away.
this
Miss
4.
Matilda on the outside coming a little bit, but it's a 2-horse battle. Just Call Me Candy in front. Just Call Me Candy holding down to the wire. And Just Call Me Candy
vicious.
next to Miss Matilda.
Vicious.
6 away, Born to Be
Stamina
Good
was not a
third,
problem
then
for
Mahone Bay
that
from
one to
Business
bag.
Class and Real
Oh.
Chopper. And the time
That horse
1:12:50.
always comes up short, and today held on. Eesh. Rough. Oh, well.
You needed the pace for race 7 when they went 21 and change and 45 flat for the half. then maybe you would have got there, and then a couple of those other horses coming late. I don't know what happened. It's hard to see at the start what happened, but it looked like the 8 and 12 kind of got shuffled back early because they both had to make like wide moves from off the
It was
pace.
last early on.
Yeah, I was not that. I was like game over at that point because that horse should have been forwardly placed. So I don't know what happened there. We are gonna find out.
I got a little silly with my tickets. I literally have. I'm looking at the way I like sketched this out.
There it is.
My top 2 picks in this race. When I initially like my picks, I write picks. Here are my top selections. Miss Matilda, Just Call Me Candy. Don't ask me how I didn't end up using Just Call Me Candy in my double or in anything. And the horse just won at 13 to 1. Unbelievable. Oy.
Yeah, I made the mistake last week, and I was like thinking about this. I've always say like, I don't know, I think players, we probably all do this. Like with the results when they're over, I mean, sometimes you just accept them. They are what they are. You made a good bet. It just didn't work out. But like last week, I ended up like I had 2 horses that were both kind of ranked about the same and used the shorter price one. And it was the race that the 2 ended up winning, that Queen horse, Ashley, that like 8 to 1. And I had them both ranked the same and ended up, I don't know why, but it was like one of those that like it kicked me afterwards because it's just like for budgetary purposes, I should have just ditched that shorter price and gone with it and like win or lose, one of those type of things. And that's sort of where I structured my double here was like, okay, I recognize both the 4 and the 6 can win, but we have these 10 to 1s, these horses that aren't exposed that are just as good, to use those horses. But, it's so hard because, people aren't really trained to lose. I listen to Motorhead, Born to Lose. So that's what it goes.
Man, I want to like send you a photo of like what I have in front of me. I have all this analysis that I wrote out, and I have picks. Miss Matilda, Just Call Me Candy, Mahone Bay, Born to Be Good.
But think about how often
That's literally your
happens,
top
right?
four.
You handicap a race, right? Your gut instinct, that's what you have. And then like a race like this is a cheaper maiden race. So we sat here, we talked about it for 30 minutes, and you start to like talk yourself onto things and out of things. And
I definitely overthought this one. I definitely, based on, you know, that first race that we saw, I'm like, oh, this track's a little wonky. You got to be closer to pace. I'm like, how's Just Call Me Candy going to get there? Is she going to get that right trip? Yikes. Yeah, this should have been a race I cleaned up on. I mean, literally, my top four are the top four here. I mean, I listed in just slightly different order. So, sucks. Oh, well. All right. Well, we still got Mohawk.
Robert's gonna save you. It's gonna be fine.
Right. There's still a chance.
There's still a chance. All right.
There's still a chance. We have what? Four more weeks. Yes, I'm counting down. 4 more weeks. There's still any chances. 12 races.
You guys are just so used to winning
races.
that, you know, when you lose, it hurts. I mean, right? It's just,
it does.
You're conditioned to win.
Especially when I have the winners written out in front of me, and like literally all I had to do was play my picks.
They're staring at you, yeah.
I somehow got like so hot on Mahone Bay that I was like, this horse I need a $10 double with this horse. I need, you know, $10 doubles with, you know, $20 doubles with Miss Matilda. No, wait, I had a $16 double with Miss Matilda. Like, why? Not a single double to Just Call Me Candy, who was my second choice? Come on, Dan. Silly. Absolutely silly. So, anyway. All right. Emily, we know this is where we part ways for the night. Thank you again.
Absolutely. And good luck this weekend with the big weekend and the show and everything. So, yes, good luck. I wrote up all the races that are on Woodbine. I'll tweet it out, but it's up on Woodbine. All the stake races. I didn't do the whole card. But those 5 stake races on Saturday are up on woodbine.com.
Awesome. All right, we'll check that out, and we'll catch you back here next Thursday.
All right, you guys. Good luck and good night.
Have a good night. All right, just the 3 of us now. And we have, let's see, how many minutes we got? We got 2 minutes left to the second. Well, listed as 2 minutes. Probably got a couple more minutes than that till the second race at Mohawk. So we're going to go ahead and bring that screen in. And there it is. All right, Robert. How do I make my money back here?
Well, we picked a bad race to do it. You know, I might be more inclined to wait till the next race and beyond. But okay, we'll see. Here's the interesting about this race. So it's bottom condition, right? Non-winners at 3,500 last 5. So this is the bottom condition that they write on the circuit. And you see, I was you know, kind of disappointed that Jam Jack of Hearts. Well, now he's coming down in price, but he's my top pick. And it's funny, you know, when you have a horse that you bet, and then when you bet the horse and you watch the race and you're so disappointed, you're like, I will never bet this horse again. That was this horse last week. And I land on him again. And the reason why is his first time Richard Moreau. And anyone that watched the circuit knows that is an angle that has been profitable, whether it be in a claiming race or a condition race. It's usually a big step forward from anyone. And that's what I'm hoping for tonight. You know, with this horse. And Military Secret, the 7, is taking lots of money. That's my second choice in here. But he's really kind of fallen on hard times, this horse. He's been racing against much tougher. He gets to go to the bottom again, but he's been here recently and was unable to get the job done against Cliffhanger. And I just think that, you know, this horse, he might go out and win tonight, but I really believe that right now he's vulnerable. He's not found the winner's circle in a while, and when horses get into those habits, usually it might carry on. And his racing style too, he doesn't have a lot of gate speed, so he's going to have to close into this. And I really wouldn't want to be taking even money in a horse that doesn't have you know, a ton of speed. I know that you know, Monique and Chad, Monique on top, and Chad is actually using the 8 for third. So our broadcasters at Woodbine, they actually like the 8 here, who I don't have in my top 4. But this horse is taking some play at 8-1, and I can kind of see where they're going with this one. But I actually prefer the 4 and the 5 underneath. And the 4 is a horse that Ashley mentioned a few weeks ago, the Rev. and getting Lasix again after racing at Grand River at a racetrack that they don't have the Lasix program. This horse, well, he doesn't really show a ton of gate speed on his card. He's the fastest horse off the gate in the entire race when he's called upon. He's 10 years old now, but this is a horse that could blast off the gate and get spotted early, and then have a shot in here at 7-1. I mean, there's no one in this race. When you get to the bottom condition, every horse in this race is kind of falling on hard times, and you're trying to figure out which one's ready to make the rebound to the winner's circle. So for me, it's 3, 7, 4, 5. And I'm going to avoid even money on the 7, like the plague. I'm going to stay away from it. And if he beats me, he beats me. Ashley, what do you think?
You basically touched upon all the horses I like. I thought the 3 and the 7 were probably the horses that stood out. You mentioned the Rev. The Rev is a similar thing to the 3 for you. I've spent way too much money on the Rev and have yet to see a profit. With that said, I think, I'm going to toss his last 2 efforts, especially his last one at Woodbine, the second tier with him.
Yeah.
Totally didn't pan out. If you look at his other races, his condition races, I mean, he's third both times. He's almost there, but he's just not good enough. I think here he can improve. So I'll use him. And, I liked the 8 as well. Kind of looking at this horse, I'm okay with the horse kind of staying around that 5-1 morning line. Now at 6-1, that's okay. I thought the effort, most recent effort was good. And then you have to go kind of down the page to find another good effort. But obviously the 8 post. I mean, the effort last time was good and was a 4 post, but it was still beaten by a length and a half. For me, I'm not crazy about the 8 post. So I'm a little cautious on that. I mean, it gives me some confidence knowing that Chad and Monique like the horse. This would be a horse, though, for me, if the horse was higher price. I said I expected the horse to stay around this morning line, but if the horse was a higher price, I'd be more enticed to play, but I'm not super intrigued by it. So for me, it's like the 3 and the 7 and maybe the Rev for second. But I honestly don't love this race.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, the 9, 9 posts, right? We've talked about that. The dreaded 9 hole. He's a horse that I really
threw the 9 in. By the way, I saw the Cube pick the 9 on Dark Horse. I just threw the 9 in.
Well, this here's the interesting thing. This horse actually, was on the cusp of making my top 4, and the 9 hole was part of it. Also, the horse is one that's difficult to bet because, usually he ends up drifting in the stretch, sometimes out to the grandstand. Mm-hmm. Now, the horse is going back to Billy Budd, though. And if you look at his career earnings, $314,000, the majority of that was with Billy Budd. So he might have the secret to this horse. And in the bottom condition, he's playable, especially at 20-1. And he's a horse that can kind of come from anywhere. So maybe not first time back in the barn. Might be more down the road. Might need some time to get him back to where he needs to be, because he is a very tricky horse even to drive. And I don't think he looks so sporty in the track tonight. But 22-1 on him is definitely, there's worse places to take 22-1 than on that angle with Shades of Bay going back to Billy Budd. But the 3 right now he's taking all the money. He's down to 2-1. And again, after swearing off this horse last week, off a perfect trip and just going nowhere, spinning his wheels, I'll land back on him tonight, and we'll see what happens.
We had a couple people send in their picks, their thoughts for this race. Bruce said he liked the 7, and our buddy here, Daily Double SW, likes the 3, using the 3 in an exacta box. Ashley did mention the 8 horse. How do you say that? Arukandimi Cabby?
Are you kidding me, Cabby?
Oh, boy. You can tell I've had too many Trulies. You could tell I've had too many Trulies. Then again, I'm not familiar with these horses. So, I mean, maybe your eyes adjust better when you see these names once or twice, or maybe it's just the Trulies. So
I think it's the Trulies. You butchered that other name at Woodbine, too.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what I called that horse. It was way off the mark. Look, I'm on vacation. Remember. Let's just remember I'm on vacation. All right, Jess got talked into the 9.
Talked someone into the 9. Yikes, sorry. I mean, let's hope for the best here.
Yeah.
Just giving you a value option, we'll see.
Effort tonight, 7-5 on the
sound.
7.
Should have some sound now.
Number 3, Jam, Jack of Hearts, getting a lot.
Early lead will be interesting here. I mean,
looks in 4 in the year.
Military Secret might try to find the speed he used to have, especially with his 40. We'll see.
From Mohawk Park.
Looks like Louis Philippe was sending the 8.
rough and pacing.
And he is.
The beginning in the center. First off, the wings left out the rev, but down the center of the racetrack, Are You Kidding Me? Cabby comes out blasting. Clad in those
Are
yellow
you
blinkers,
kidding
it
me?
is Are You Kidding Me? Cabby rocketing to the front. Coming away second in the pocket spot is JM Jack of Hearts.
There was a horse when I did the show one night with Chad. There was a horse, and the name of the horse, like as I read it, was Let Him Eat Cake Hanover. Now the first time, it's all one word though, and I looked at it and I read it the way Chad did the first time, as Lieutenant Meat Cake Hanover, right? Which I thought was hilarious. But then I realized because of the name of the dam, it was Let Him Eat Cake Hanover after Marie Antoinette. And it was funny because he went the route of Lieutenant Meat Cake Hanover on the show. And then we had a little debate on what the horse's name was. It happens a lot in harness racing, though, Dan. Don't worry about it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, that's. I mean, robbery in the second quarter, there, guys. Absolute robbery. 30, almost a 30-second quarter. 29 and change in the second quarter. This 8 looks strong in the lead. I'll tell you that.
7's flying, isn't he?
Perfect trip with the 3. Let's see if he disappoints me again.
Are You Kidding Me? Cabby confronted by military secret pocket sitting. JM Jack of Hearts looks for racetrack third.
7 looks like he might be finding his old form tonight.
Are You Kidding Me? Cabby
he's hanging though.
Tough at the rail. Military
the 8 has to hold on because I didn't use the 8. So
and the 3's got nowhere to go, of course.
He's dropped inside looking for
oh, inside now with the 3.
He's got a lane now.
Inside with the 3.
Prestige Sealster, and it's Prestige Sealster with a 9-1.
Wow, Prestige
Damn.
Fourth choice for the Journal over top choice. Not gonna lie to you, not the worst result for my pick 5. 9-1. So we could have some.
Bet. The Rev would have stolen my money again.
Yeah, he's. He tried to leave tonight for it. You know, you saw him off the gate. He was trying to leave, and I think at 10 years old now, he just doesn't have the snap that he used to have. Wow,
that was close. Yeah.
That's close.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the 3 keyed over the 5-7, so naturally we see the way this night's going for me. So you're gonna have to like spoon feed me a pick 4 later for me to.
Well, I told you we're punching it, so I can't. I mean, we got to hope for the best, but it's gonna be cheap. If you lose, it's gonna be cheap.
And so I'll put what pennies I have left on it. So
just, a cold punch, and I'll give you a couple options if you want.
I don't want any options. I just want one ticket.
Options.
Give me the ticket. I'm gonna bet it, and I'm gonna go to bed.
You are hungry, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thirsty, I believe is the term.
Oddly enough, I was talking to someone here yesterday, and they didn't know that I had taken over the Journal. So it's someone that I kind of talk harness with, and they said to me, they were asking my opinion on some races. And the next day they came back in and said, well, who do you like? And I said, well, you can just read it in the Journal. Like, that's what it's there for. And he's like, oh, you just play Mike Hamilton. That's who used to write the Journal. Mike Hamilton did a fantastic job for many years. He said, oh, you just play Mike's picks? And I'm like, no, I'm that guy now. And he's like, oh, that's you. But what he said to me he said, your 4th picks are fire. And Here we are with a 4th pick coming in at 9-1. So maybe I should kind of take some advice and start playing my 4th picks.
Don't overthink anything. Do what you were going to do, because me overthinking tonight cost me about $2,500 combined in that last race at Woodbine. So don't overthink your picks. Let's look ahead a little bit to that pick 4 sequence. Tell us how we should play it.
All right. So I want to let's go. We'll start with the pick 4, but I want to backtrack after that. We're going to look at the pick 5 as well, because I think you can add an extra key to the pick 5, and we can almost cold punch that one. All right.
Play the pick 5.
But we're going to start with the pick 4. That's what they tasked me with tonight on the broadcast. They asked me to do it, and I'll be honest with you. What was kind of cool was I got some love on Twitter right away from some guys PMing me saying, "Hey, cold punch ticket, love to see it," right? Because usually as handicappers, we try to, like you just said, overthink things and say, well, I don't want to miss, so I'm going to spread it here and there, and then we actually kill a lot of equity, right? So if you love something, go with it, and that's what we're going to do here. So race number 8, we're going to start with number 10, and this is going to be a horse that Ashley knows and probably knows all the horses, well, definitely knows all the horses that he was racing against it too. Captain Nemo, 2 to 5 in the morning line. I put a message out on Twitter earlier in the week and said, and I was kidding, of course, but if anyone wants to lock me in a 2 to 5, please have their people call my people, because this horse, if he gets beat tonight, I give up, honestly. 5 career starts at 2 and 5 second-place finishes. Seconditis, doesn't matter. I don't care, because that was in the Kindergarten Series, the Dreammaker final, and the Nasagawea against Captain Midnight, Captain Kirk. And his first loss came to Major Betts, and he qualified against Manticore and won 50-3 at the Meadowlands. All these horses now are horses that race against Tall Dark Stranger and race the top level for 3-year-olds. This horse is North America Cup eligible, and he gets to race in a maiden race tonight against horses that are probably 2, 3, 4 seconds slower at best. So
wow. Okay.
This horse, it should be a walk in the park. The only thing, when you've got that little voice in your head saying, what could go wrong? Post 10 is the only thing that could go wrong. But the trailing post shouldn't be a problem, because at any point in time, this horse should be able to quarter pole or move to the lead. He's just that much faster than them. So I think that you have an absolute single here, and it's not even really worth discussing the rest of the field, because this horse is head and shoulders the best. Race number 9, we're going to go. There's a couple options in here, then a couple horses that might take money. And this is where we're going to hope we're going to knock some people out of that pick 4. We're going to stick with the morning line favorite, number 4, Line Drive Hanover, 2-year-old colt. This is a 2-year-old race, just open for 2-year-olds. There's only 2 horses that have won in this race, and they both come to the outside, the 8 and 9. Line Drive Hanover was going to win the first leg of the Dreammaker at 25 cents to the dollar when he made a break in stride. The word on the street is this is Casey Coleman, who has a arsenal of 2-year-olds, that this is actually her best one. And I would agree that this horse looked like an absolute robot on the lead that night when he made a break, and Squadron Eddie Chancellor finished 4th. Now, that was July 27th. I'm hoping and assuming that everything is going to be where it needs to be with this horse. And tonight, off the similar trip, he's going to go to the front and just improve his position and open up on the field. The only horse that you might want to consider using if you're like, hey, cold punch ticket's crazy, might be the 5, a first-time starter for Tony Alagna. This horse qualified very well. However, I still think the 4 is head and shoulders the best horse in this race. So we're singling the 4 in the second leg in race number 9, Line Drive Hanover. In race
Before
10,
you go on, real quick,
yes.
What was the number of that horse that you mentioned just a moment ago, if you want to go too deep there?
Pirate Hanover is the 5.
The 5.
The 5.
That's
Okay,
another
cool.
Alagna.
All right.
Right. Alagna,
Cool.
yeah, absolutely. Then we're going to go to race number 10. And this horse was, he was talked about a lot last week. Okay, this is Proline. He went off at
You love Proline.
Yes, we loved him last week. And what happened to him, it was an interesting trip. He got away 7th, and he moved to the outside and made a massive move. And then instead of moving on and taking the lead, probably trying to brave him up, the driver dropped into the 2-hole behind the leader, and that leader immediately stopped. And he got locked in and put into a horrible position before shaking loose and finishing 2nd. So, again, sometimes, with 2-year-olds, you don't want to necessarily burn them too hard, especially with an outside trip. Probably what the plan was, but it ended up not working out because the outside flow ended up passing the leader, and this horse got put into an impossible spot. It was his first lifetime start. He was scratched a couple times when he was supposed to make his debut. 2 qualifiers that were rock solid. His effort was rock solid in his debut. And I think tonight, Louis-Philippe Bois, there is an equipment change in this horse, blind to blinkers. And I think they're not going to make any mistakes tonight with this horse. I think they're not going to leave any margin for error. And this horse is going to be put to the lead early. And he's going to open up and he's going to win by a wide margin. 3 to 5 in the morning line. Not worth probably a win bet, but definitely a horse that you can key in your multis. Finishing in race 11 is an OSS Gold Sire Stakes race for 3-year-old trotting fillies. And we get the pleasure of watching PL Not So Nice from the rail. Not the best spot for a younger trotter, but this horse broke the track record last time at Rito Carlton. And really, as a sophomore, has come into her own. She's been to Tioga, Woodbine, Pocono Downs, and Rito Carlton in 4 of her last 5 starts. So she's got a lot of air miles. And, you know, I really believe this horse is just on the improve every single start that I see her. And I think she blows this field away tonight from the inside post. You know, 52-4 last time at Rito. Sky's the limit tonight for this horse. Another single. There's your cold punch ticket, 10-4, 7-1. And I'm guys, I'm going to die with you tonight. I told you already. This might be an understatement. We're cold punching it. And, you know, we're going to hope for the best.
I like the confidence. I do like the confidence. Ashley, being someone as you know who has some perspective on this kind of stuff, as someone who's in the harness world, is Robert out of his mind, or is he on the right track?
No, I don't think he's out of his mind. That's like the nicest thing I'll ever say. Like, you're fine. No, I think when you look at, I mean, kind of looking at the races tonight in that sequence, I mean, I don't see Captain Nemo losing. You know, you're talking about, yes, he has second-itis, but, you know, I think the big thing, and Robert mentioned, is the horses that he's been facing. And you're talking about these pacers this year, these 3-year-old pacers. I mean, he's facing horses that were in the Meadowlands pace, or they just exited the race just this past weekend, which was a tough race. So, I mean, Manticore, I know, kind of looking at like in the Meadowlands pace, he was kind of an upset. I believe he ran 4th or 5th in the final, made a really good move. I think Jordan Stratton drove him. Decent horse. You're talking about the other captains, which Captain Kirk was kind of, you know, one of the ones that stood out for Alanya, as well as, you know, Captain Midnight. You know, he's got all of these Captain Treacherous babies, these 2 and 3-year-olds, and it obviously makes sense why. But I mean, this horse is faced way classier than the group that he's facing tonight, hands down. So to me, I think he's an easy single. Obviously the price is going to be horrid, but and then I know Line Drive Hanover is the other one that he liked. I think you have to use Pirate Hanover, in my opinion. I wouldn't single there. I'd go too deep. I just don't know. You know, you see Alanya just has that one qualifier with second. That's a horse to me that screams sneakiness. And again, I talk about Alanya, but I mean, he does a tremendous job. All of his horses are basically top notch from what you see. I mean, when I was there last weekend at the Meadowlands, I mean, he had a great 2 days, especially his second day. I think he won 3 or 4 races on the program at the Meadowlands. Obviously his big one was with Ramona Hill. So, no, I think you can kind of go light on this ticket. I think there are standouts. I don't think you have to play an expensive ticket. And if you just want some action and something to root for, then play a smaller base wager. If you're a sick degenerate like other people in the top left corner of the screen right now, play a heavier one. You know, you have options. So I think, you know, you can play it and just have something to root for. You won't lose much money if something happens. I'm always trying to price shop, but I think especially in those first 2 legs, it's one horse, 1, maybe 2, and that's it.
Ashley,
so
let me give you a full screen reaction to what you just said.
Is that because I was calling you a sick degenerate? It's fine as long as you admit it. You look so sad and defeated. But I mean, to me, if you're price shopping, you probably are gonna, I don't know, probably the 11th would be the race if you're gonna price shop, or the 10th. That's it. But even then, I mean, Robert mentions it. I mean, how do you go against PL Not So Nice? I mean, the horse is kind of a monster.
Well, that's the question. I mean, like, if any one of these legs, okay, if you're just like, look, this is your really tempting fate here to think you get 4 singles home. If there's one leg where you want to, you know, maybe you'll hit the all button, one leg, just for fun. You know, I mean, what is it going to cost? It's going to cost you $10, hit the all button for $1. Which leg would that be if you think there's a favorite here and you see the ticket scrolling on the bottom there? One of these, you know, these horses, you know what's up. I mean, which one of these horses is just going to potentially go off stride or just get, you know, just do something that, yeah.
If I was gonna do that, I would look for the shortest price of the bunch. Well, I wouldn't try to beat Captain Nemo. That's just silly. But I would look for a short price that I know everyone else is keying, and then at least you're gonna knock out a lot of the pool if you do get a bomb down. Line Drive Hanover might be the most vulnerable. He's already made a break in a race before, so you know, looking at that one there and taking it all might be the way to go. Me personally, I like taking alls in the last leg, because typically people try to stay alive to the last leg. Okay. So for me, if I'm looking at it from a strategic standpoint and I'm going to take an all, I might go to the last leg because, hey, you know what? That might give me some pretty big number of options on the board, horses that get overlooked. But again, for me, there's not going to be anything else on my ticket. I might play one ticket with Pirate Hanover on there. Other than that, I'm going to be cold punching it.
Sounds good. Let's our last live race of the night is the third from Mohawk. Let's just let's tell people what to bet on this race real quick as they get close to getting started here.
I was actually hoping that we'd see a bigger price than 1 to 5. I mean, I wasn't expecting more than 6 to 5 or anything like that. But Macho Martini's been an absolute monster. I was talking to Bob McClure earlier, driver of Macho Martini, and I asked him, "Hey, can you give me something to tell the viewers tonight?" And he just said,
No.
the horse he likes on the card the most is Macho Martini. And I mean, of course, he probably doesn't think that we're looking for value. But I know his thoughts on this horse is that this horse is an absolute monster, and we've seen it, more than once. A winner in the first leg of the Millard Farms by as much as he wanted, beat the Golds by as much as he wanted. He's probably the best horse. Well, I'm going to say right now he is the best horse in the 2-year-old Golds. Tokyo Sealster probably being the closest one to him. And I was hoping that Black Tie Bash would take money. And I look at the doubles, I look at the pick threes, and he's certainly taken a lot more money in the multi-leg wagers than he has on the win end, because he got locked in last time, and a lot of people were, kind of looking at that trouble trip as, look how good he was. He got locked in. He had trot in the lane. Well, great. That's what you're supposed to have. If you get locked in, you're supposed to have trot in the lane. And he raced good to get third, and he just missed second. But I don't think he's in the same league as Macho Martini. And the only horse that can beat Macho Martini tonight is himself. I'm firmly convinced of that. For me, my selections in the journal are 3, 2, 6, 9. The 6 Highland Mowgli might be a horse to play in the ticket at 21 to 1. Finished second to Macho Martini before, finished second to Tokyo Sealster before, and has early speed. Should try to get spotted, near the front early and just sit, and hopefully something works out where he can get a piece. The other horse, being the 9, who was Ashley's horse last week, Logan Park. I'm wanting to see if she's going back there this week. 11 to 1 post 9 though. Very impressive last week in victory, but I think just too much work for that one tonight from the outside post.
Yeah, it's like all of my boyfriends are in this race, the 1, 2, and the 9. I mean, they all finished 1, 2, 3 last time out. The 1 was kind of the horse that was the big price, 32 to 1, that got second. I thought the horse maybe could run race third. To me, I mean, if I can narrow this race down to 4 horses, and if I were to play a trifecta, I mean, the tough thing is if this comes in 3-2, it doesn't matter who runs third. It's not going to pay anything. That's where I struggle. But to me, I mean, I'd use the 2 and the 3. I think they're probably the most logicals. I thought the 2 Black Tie Bash last time out had the 6 post and didn't get a perfect trip. I think this horse will fare better towards the inside of the gate. So at least has that going for you. Obviously Macho Martini has some early foot, so not the best thing either, because this one could just kind of launch off the gate, move over, and hopefully you'll just get some cover and get a good trip from there. I like Logan Park. Louis, I thought last time was a perfect setup for him, and he made all the right moves. I think this post is going to make that tougher, but I'll still use him here. And honestly, I'm gonna use the 1 underneath. I'll probably play this, and I'll use the 1 for third again. I'm not gonna take anything away from that effort. I mean, he was still second to Logan Park, and he was a big price, and you have to price search in here. But I mean, the 3 kind of looks like a standout.
I missed that. Who was the 1 for third there?
I mean, he's the 1, the 1 for third.
The 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, the horses to me, it's 2, 3, and then, second tier is the 9 and the 1.
All right. I'm doing a little hodgepodge superfecta based on all your horses here. I use the 3 on top of the 9, and underneath that I got the 1, 2, 6 with the 1, 5, 6, 10. A little hodgepodge, a little bit of everything. The 5 was one I found myself, so I'm
Sophie's sure there. You're gonna take credit. Be like, I picked the 5. Just saying.
Well, I've only got him for 4th, so we'll see. But yeah, 3 I think is the way to go. By the way, a daily double. Liked your assessment there, Robert, about if you're going to go all in any leg, it may as well be the last leg. So you get there, you could sort of enjoy it, put your feet up at that point, and if you're like me, expect the favorite to come in. If you're just tuning in, I'm going to put this on the bottom of the screen. The late pick 4 starts in race 8. Robert's going to cold punch that pick 4. 4 singles for you tonight. Play it for however much you'd like. Robert is very confident. So we'll leave that down on the bottom. We'll get you the sound here of the third race for Mohawk.
The start.
Yeah, Macho Martini was doing his thing again, throwing his head before the start, but he looks okay now.
And they're off. Big speed from On a Streak from the outside. As Young
the other Luke Blay horse, the 8 on a streak, blasting to the lead. Wow.
From the inside is Part-Time Dash. Up between horses.
Now, what do you make where the 3 is right now? I mean,
from the rail, 5th away is Where We Whisper.
That's, well, I mean, if you remember last time, he had the outside post. He actually got away 8th and just stayed on the outside until he made the lead. So I think Bob just, just wanted to get away wherever, get him out of trouble, and then he's going to probably quarter pole, move to the lead pretty soon. And with the stablemate in the lead right now, it'll be interesting to see if Jody pulls first to see if he tries to get that position. But he's going to stay behind the other Blay horse, and of course he's going to get released. It's a stablemate on the lead, so it's going to be 3-8 right now.
And Macho Martini sweeping up alongside On a Streak, and now muscling his way to the front. Third inside to Black Tie Bash. Logan Park is underway first up, 4th now.
Logan Park went this trip last week and lasted, so we'll see what he's got this week in the final.
I've got 3-9. Wouldn't mind this.
Turn. Macho Martini with the lead. Pressure from Logan Park.
I could use a 3-9 too.
On a Streak in the pocket spot is third. Off stride around the turn went Moose on your caboose. Right there.
5 made a break.
Yeah, they had no luck for that 5.
Lucky Rascal, very 5th. Black Tie Bash. 6th outside to Golden Compass. Then it's Highland Mowgli.
The good thing for the 9 is that they're not really going, huge fractions, right? So he should be able to last. I mean, Macho Martini should trot away from them, but he should be able to last a little bit anyways. The 2 just made a break.
Wow.
And they're into the stretch. And it's Macho Martini.
Yeah, this looks like 3-8-7, right? Or 3-8-6. Oh no, 9's still there.
Okay. On a streak, a deep stretch break for Black Tie Bash. Logan Park, then Lucky Rascal.
3-8-7.
Deep stretch, and it's Macho Martini, the Macho Man.
Big price, third, 65 to 1.
Yeah. We had to land it on the Blay barn for the exacta. This is going to be a nice try. I mean, 1-5 on top, but 3-8-7 will pay nice. That's for sure.
Really nice comments from the viewers, but I just want to say thank you to the viewers. So many viewers have actually sent in really nice comments. Really appreciate you tuning in every week too. Yeah, go ahead, Robert. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, the 2 was, I picked him for second in the journal. He was one that I was gonna try to get off the ticket, and somehow I still missed. I needed the 9 to land somewhere, or the 6. The 6 angled out, didn't really have much trot in the lane, but this will pay good if someone's got it. The 9 looks like the 9 might have held on for 4th, and
the 2
this
that
will
were towards
definitely
the front all the way around. That's kind of where it stayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we sign off for the night, I could have swore I heard you mention something about a pick 5 also.
I did. I was hoping we go back there because I got a little bit more information to share.
Ashley was like, these damn degenerates, get me off.
Yeah, we just the betting never stops. So the pick 5, for the purpose of the broadcast, I got the pick 4 tonight, which I was happy with because, I like the idea of throwing out a cold punch. But for the pick 5, it starts in race number 6, and there you go. So that's one there that Dan, if you're looking to use an all, I can endorse an all in race number 6. In fact, my pick 5 ticket I have marked out. There's 2 tickets I have marked out, and it's 4 singles. And then starting in race 6, I have an all on one ticket and 3, 5, 9 on the other ticket. So I think race 6 is one you can spread out in, kind of a wide open event. Now in race number 7, GP Dreamin' has been heavy favorite most weeks, and just dominating the 3-year-old fillies trotting division, along with now PL Not So Nice, who's in the last. I'm happy they didn't draw again against each other because I do think they're the best 2 fillies in the division. Now, last week this horse went to the front. Got to go through easy fractions at Rideau Carlton, in the last gold event, and stopped, finished 3rd. I only got beat half a length, but really had no excuse to get beat. She finished with broken equipment. I did ask Jody Jameson about that. He said the broken equipment was not the issue, and that she did not, have the best time shipping. And I put that in the journal as a guess, and ended up being right. That the only thing that really made sense is that the trip to Ottawa, it was a really hot day. Maybe didn't go very well for her. So I think with that information, And the way she's been racing, especially on this circuit, over this surface, I think she's hands down the best in there. And I'm hoping that some will look at that last one and think she's regressing, when I think she's going to come right back tonight with a dominating effort. So for the pick 5, we're going to, bleed into some of those pick 4 races, but we're going to look at an all or 3, 5, 9 with 3, with 10, with 4, with 7.
All right, so you're going 3
and add to it as you see fit, but that's where I'm landing.
Okay. You like the 3 in the second leg of the pick 5? GP Dreamin'?
Second leg, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
All right, just making sure I had it correct. I'm going to flash it on the screen here, just for anybody who's interested. As I'm doing that, Robert, let people know again where they can find you anytime, any day of the week.
Absolutely. So if you go to woodbine.com/Mohawk Park, you can get a copy of the program that has the Horse Players Journal, my selections in it every race night. And of course, you can always hit me up on Twitter with any questions, comments, feedback, even trash talk if that's the way you want to go. I get a lot of that too. At Robert Reid Jr. on Twitter. But yeah, let's have conversations about harness racing. Always here to help when I can.
All right. And Ashley, let people know what you're up to. I know you're going on vacation, a much deserved vacation coming up. But apart from that,
I'm gonna unplug as much as I can, but obviously I'm on Twitter at Ashley_Mailloux. I'll still be doing 4 Dairy this week, and then I'll have Monmouth for the Twin Spires app. I don't know if I'll actually go to the track, but I'm going to spend a week at the beach and try to get away from everything. So should be exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. Well deserved. Let's see. I think we've got the ticket here. This is the pick 5 that starts in race 6. You can either go all or 3, 5, 9, or you can play both tickets. It's not going to cost you too much if you're doing it at the 50 cent minimum. Sorry for the missing comma there after the 5. My bad. Totally my bad. I totally messed up. With the 3, with the 10, with the 4, with the 7 to close out. And we showed you the pick 4 here as well, which starts in race 8, 10 with 4, with 7 with 1. Robert coming through with confidence this week, and we appreciate it. We need something nice to close the night out. Some close calls tonight. I feel like we didn't fully deliver, fully come through like we have every other week. But hopefully, if you've watched, you've enjoyed the show, and you've played along, and you've cashed a ticket. All right. We're coming up at 8 o'clock. That's the end of the show for this week. If you want to see more live streaming action from ABR, tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Friday night. We have La Trifecta with Denise Montpleasure, Claudia Spadaro, Darwin Vizcaya, La Trifecta, 7 o'clock on ABR, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. They'll be previewing all the big weekend stakes races. And then on Saturday, huge card coming up at Woodbine. I will be live for a good portion of the afternoon on Saturday on the same channel starting at 4 o'clock with Ellis Starr. We'll also be bringing in a lot of other people, handicappers, live reports. We'll also have Robert Geller from the announcer's booth at Woodbine joining us live on Saturday, and a couple of other familiar faces. So thank you to everyone who joined in. Thank you again to my amazing co-hosts and colleagues here, Robert Reid Jr., Ashley Mailloux, and Emily Gullikson. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you